Well, every Sunday, Pat Sullivan from Sullivan Hardware and Garden provides some great advice for do-it-yourself home improvements. Today, he's talking about weeds.
All right, I know it's been a little bit of a cold spring, but you know what? It is time to get moving on the lawn. So what can you do to your lawn? Because you know what? Some of the weeds, if you look at this particular lawn, you have some, there's some chickweed growing. We have some henbit. We have some dandelions. Now, a couple of those, interesting enough, if you really wanted to take care of some of those winter annuals like henbit and chickweed, you would actually put crabgrass control down in August. But who's going to remember that, right? No one. So we're left with it as it comes up. So the things you should be doing to your lawn right now, first of all, is crabgrass control. Now, I know a lot of you probably put this on back in February, but that was probably a little too early. This is really about the time, you know, about third week of April, fourth week of April. You can even go later this year. And what this does is prevents crabgrass from germinating. If you put it on too early, you lose your control on the back side. So as crabgrass continues to germinate in June, if you put it down in February, well, you may be out of luck and you might have crabgrass germinating. So a lot of people, crabgrass generally doesn't grow in the shade. So if you want, this particular one has fertilizer in it. So that's crabgrass control and fertilizer. You can just get the pre-emergent, the pendimethalin by itself. That way you can spot treat along walkways, anywhere where there's a little bit of heat. That's where crabgrass tends to pop up. So if you have kind of a shady lawn, you're not too worried about it, you can spot treat with this. However, that's what you should be putting down, but more than likely this weekend what everybody is grabbing is weed and feed. Now the problem with weed and feed is this is not a weed preventer. This is actually a weed killer. So when we have a few weeds like I showed you that have popped up, well then the rest of the weeds will come up as the soil temperatures go up, we get more sunshine. Well, this doesn't help you. So what you're doing with this is you're spreading weed killer over 100% of your lawn. Now, if you take a look at this lawn right here, I showed you some weeds, but look down here. We've just got grass right here. There's no weeds at all down here. Well, why spread weed killer there when you have no weeds? So what I would recommend is getting one of the liquid weed killers. So you've got, this is just plain Weed Be Gone, and you just spot treat. So just hit the weeds where they are. Then if you do have so many weeds that you feel like you need weed and feed, you come back, really the middle of May you could do that, but ideally the best time to do it is in September. But they don't recommend it in September because everyone's bored with their lawns and fertilizer companies would go broke. So if you do have really hard to kill weeds like clover, some violets, different things, Speed Zone or Weed Free Zone by Fertilome, two of the best, have a fourth weed killer called carfinazone in it, seem to do a pretty good job. So it's time to get going on the lawn.